Hello students, let us continue with the computation of capital gain, Income Tax 2, 4th semester BCom. You are watching video session 7. Let us move towards the problem. Problem number 8. Mr. Kapil sold the following assets during the year ended 31st March 2020. Shop purchased during 2017 for 3 lakh. This is our cost of acquisition, which was let out, was sold in 2020 for 25 lakh. This is our selling price. This asset is long-term capital asset because it is held by the SSE for more than 24 months. Therefore, we have to do the indexing for the asset. Second is machinery purchased during 2001 and 2 for 10 lakh. Written down value on 1/4/2019 is 6 lakh. Sold for 7 lakh. Selling price is 7 lakh less cost of acquisition is written down value. We shouldn't take this 10 lakh. Instead, we should take the written down value because this is depreciable asset and the rule of written down value applies. And we should always consider this as short-term capital gain only, irrespective of when it is purchased. Next is household furniture purchased on 1/5/2018 for 30,000 was sold for 20,000. What we should do? Should we take this? No, we shouldn't take. Why? Because this is not capital asset. Therefore, we are not computing capital gain for household furniture. Next is agriculture land purchased during 1980, before 1/4/2001. Agra, it is situated in urban area for 1 lakh. That is the purchase price. And fair market value of land was 15 lakh on 1/4/2001 and sold for 40 lakh. So 40 lakh is the selling price. We have to take purchase price or fair market value, whichever is high as cost of acquisition, and we have to do the index, right? And also note, since this agriculture land is situated in urban area, we are computing capital gain. If the agriculture land is situated in rural area, we shouldn't take the capital gain and should not tax. Next, a residential house purchased during 1988-89 for 6 lakh. This is purchase price. Sold for 50 lakh. Selling price. Fair market value on 1/4/2001 is given 20 lakh. So we have to take purchase price 6 lakh or 20 lakh, whichever is high. New room was constructed in 1994 for 5 lakh. We shouldn't take this. Why? Because any cost of improvement before 1/4/2001 should not be computed. Next, he purchased another house costing 14 lakh. So he has invested in the purchase of new house within 2 years of sale. Therefore, this comes under the deduction section 54. He deposited 2 lakh in capital gain account scheme before the time of filing of IT return. So this also given under section 54 as exemption. CII base year is given 100, 1718 272 and 1920 year of sale. Our previous year 289 is given. Let us have a quick look on the solution. Each capital asset should be calculated separately, you know this. And shop is LTCG because it is held for more than 24 months by the SSC. And WDV should be taken for machinery as cost of acquisition because this is depreciable asset and always it should be considered as STCG irrespective of the year of purchase. And household furniture is not capital asset, therefore we are not computing the capital gain, right? You know the format, so we'll solve the problem. First asset is shop. We have to take the sale consideration. If you remember, in the problem I have told you, the shop is sold for 25 lakh. Then we have to deduct from this selling price, selling expenses, but we don't have, so we are not writing nil. Index cost of acquisition we have to take. Cost of acquisition divided by CII year of purchase into CII year of sale. Purchase price is 3 lakh. year of purchase index given in the problem is 272 and year of sale index is 289. So we will get 3,18,750 deducted from the selling price. What we arrive at? We arrive at long-term capital gain 21,81,250. So Kapil has received long-term capital gain by selling the shop. Second asset, machinery, always treat it as short-term capital gain. By selling, he has received 7 lakh. Selling expense we have to deduct, but we don't have in this problem, therefore nil. Then second is written down value, which we are taking as cost of acquisition, 6 lakh. We are shifting it to the second column. 7 lakh minus 6 lakh written down value. So short-term capital gain 1 lakh. Third item, agriculture land. By selling, the SSC received 40 lakh. From that we have to deduct selling expense. We don't have in this problem, it is not given. Next we have to deduct indexed cost of acquisition. Since this property was purchased before 1/4/2001, cost of acquisition or fair market value, whichever is high, should be taken. Purchase price is 1 lakh. Fair market value given in the problem is 15 lakh. Whichever is high means 15 lakh. And base year index is taken 100 into 289. So we arrive at 43,35,000. That has to be deducted from 40 lakh. So 43,35,000 should be deducted from 40 lakh. If you look into the problem, by selling he has received 40 lakh, but the expenses comes to 43,35,000, the total deduction. Therefore what happens? There is a loss. 40 lakh minus 43,35,000, long-term capital loss is 3,35,000. So remember, we have one loss here, 3,35,000, which is long-term. Next, the fourth one, residential house, long-term capital gain. By selling, SSC received 50 lakh. From that we are deducting selling expense. We don't have in this problem, so it is nil. Then this asset is also purchased before 1/4/2001. Therefore, cost of acquisition or fair market value, whichever is high. Cost of acquisition of this property, if you remember, I explained it is 6 lakh or 20 lakh is the fair market value given in the problem into 289. So 2001 index is 100. 57,80,000. Selling price is 50 lakh and deduction is 57,80,000. What happens? Same thing. Here we have the long-term capital loss of 7,80,000. Right? If you remember, under residential house, we had investment by the SSC. He has purchased house for 14 lakh and deposited in 2 lakh. We have to give this exemption under section 54. Can we give here? Can we give? It's not possible here because we have loss under residential house. Therefore, from the loss we can't, since there is no income or there is no profit, we can't give any exemption for that. So what we have to do, we'll find out what are the total capital gain now. From the shop, the SSC has received 21,81,250 as long-term capital gain. And from agriculture land, there is a long-term capital loss of 3,35,000. And from residential house, 7,80,000 is the loss. So total loss is 11,15,000. We will deduct it from the gain that is received by selling shop. 21,81,250 minus total loss 11,15,000. So what is the long-term capital gain now? 10,66,250. So SSC has in his hand 10,66,250 as long-term capital gain. Now we are not going to tax this. We will give that exemption here. Okay, exemption under section 54. Purchase of new house under section 54F we are giving. What is section 54F? This 54F deduction is given when the long-term capital gain is invested in purchase of residential house. So that is 14 lakh purchase of new house, and deposit in capital gain account scheme is 2 lakh. Total of the exemption comes to 16 lakh. But if you see, long-term capital gain is only 10,66,250. So we can't give exemption more than the gain. Therefore, total investment 16 lakh or LTCG 10,66,250, whichever is low. Therefore, whatever he has, everything is given for exemption. Now nothing is in his hand to tax. So taxable long-term capital gain becomes nil. And taxable short-term gain, if you remember from machinery, is 1 lakh. We are keeping it separately. Taxable long-term capital gain we have calculated separately and given the exemption also, and after that we found that there is no capital gain to tax. Therefore it is nil. And taxable short-term capital gain by selling of machinery is 1 lakh. So this is solution to the problem related to computation of capital gain of Kapil. If you have any doubts, you can drop in the comment box. Now move on to next problem, problem number 9. We'll read the problem completely. Vignesh purchased a house property for 4,20,000 on 1/5/1992. He gets the first floor constructed during 95-96 by sending 20 lakh. He died on 15/9/99. So previous year calculation will not apply for him since he wasn't existing during previous year. And by his will, property is transferred to Mrs. Pavitra Vignesh. The property is given to his wife by will. She spends 40,000 and 25,000 respectively for renovation of the property during 99, 2000, 2004 and 5. So 99, 2000 she has spent 40,000 as cost of improvement, and during 2004 and 5 she has spent 25,000 as cost of improvement. Mrs. Pavitra sold the property for 50 lakh. So who sold the property? Mrs. Pavitra. Therefore, we have to compute capital gain for Mrs. Pavitra because she has sold the property and she has received the money and paid brokerage 15,000. So that is the selling expense. The fair market value of the property is 13 lakh on 1/4/2001 because this property was purchased on 1992. We have the fair market value as on 1/4/2001. Now the question is, what is the cost of acquisition? The cost of acquisition is purchase price of the previous owner or fair market value, whichever is high. 4,20,000 or 13 lakh, whichever is high, means cost of acquisition here is 13 lakh. Since this is long-term capital gain, we have to index the cost of acquisition. So what we'll write? First we'll write the selling price 50 lakh. From that we have to deduct the selling expense 15,000. Then we have to deduct the cost of improvement. The cost of improvement made by the previous owner should not be computed, and cost of improvement done before 1/4/2001 should not be taken. Therefore, we have only one cost of improvement to be indexed, and that is cost of improvement done during 2004 and 5. Amount is 25,000. This we have to index, taking the CII 113. Again, have a quick look. We have to compute the capital gain for Mrs. Pavitra Vignesh, not Vignesh, because house is sold by her. Cost of acquisition of the previous owner 4,20,000 or fair market value as on 1/4/2001, whichever is high becomes the cost of acquisition. Since the house is inherited, it is purchased before 1/4/2001 by the previous owner Vignesh. So we have the base period as 1/4/2001. Index is CII is 100. COI, cost of improvement done by the previous owner, should not be taken. COI by Pavitra before 1/4/2001 should not be taken. Only COI done during 2004 and Y given in this problem should be indexed. Since she has held the property from 1999 to March 2020, this becomes the long-term capital gain. And she has invested in the bond of National Highway Authority India bond for 11 lakh when June 2020. So the house was sold in March 20, and she has invested in the bond in June 2020. So within 6 months she has purchased the bond. Therefore we can give the deduction under 54 EC. So let us solve the problem. Computation of capital gain of Pavitra Vignesh. Here we have only one property, house property, sold for 50 lakh, less selling expenses, brokerage 15,000, index cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition or fair market value as on 1/4/2001, whichever is high should be taken. So previous owner Vignesh purchases for 4,20,000 and 1/4/2001 FMV is 13 lakh. Whichever is high means 13 lakh into 289 divided by 100. So index cost of acquisition is 37,57,000. Now next deduction we are giving is indexed cost of improvement. If you remember, I have told you index cost of improvement is done only for 2004 and 5. Improvement done by the previous owner and improvement done by Pavitra during 2000 before 2001 is also not taken. Only 2004 and 5 is indexed. So 25,000 is the cost of improvement into 289 divided by 113. That is the index for the year of improvement. So what is the amount we are getting? Index cost of improvement is 63,938. So we are totaling 15,000, 37,57,000 and 38,35,938 is the total. So that we are deducting from the selling price, and long-term capital gain is 11,64,062. Selling price minus selling expenses minus index cost of acquisition minus index cost of improvement. We arrive at the long-term capital gain 11,64,062. For that we are giving exemption. Exemption is under section 54. We have 54 EC. So what is the investment she has done in the bond? 11 lakh. Let's deduct this from the capital gain. We are giving section 54 EC deduction, exemption. So long-term capital gain which is taxable is only 64,062. So out of this 11,64,062, she has invested 11 lakh rupees, and whatever remaining with her is 64,062, and this is the only amount which is taxable. So that's all. You have to practice the problems that are solved in this problem. Try solving it, and if you have any doubts you can clarify. In the next class we'll be solving few more problems related to this. Thank you.